All right, let's talk about one of the biggest heartbreaks for any plant owner. You buy a gorgeous orchid, it puts on this incredible show, and then nothing, just leaves? Forever? Well, today we're going to solve that mystery by getting inside the mind, so to speak, of your orchid.
So, does this look familiar? You've got this beautiful plant, it gives you that one amazing burst of flowers, and then you wait, and you wait, and you start to wonder if you did something wrong. We've all been there. But what if I told you your orchid isn't being stubborn or ignoring you?
That's right. It's actually making a very smart, very calculated biological decision. It's basically running a little internal audit, asking itself, can I really afford to do this right now? And our job is to crack the code on how it makes that decision.
See, for an orchid, flowering is a huge deal. It's like the plant version of running a marathon. It takes a massive amount of energy. So it's only going to commit to that if it can pass this really strict biological checkpoint. And that checkpoint is built on 3 essential pillars.
Okay, so here they are, the 3 pillars of blooming. Think of this as your orchid's pre-flight checklist. It's got to have a full energy bank, it needs a very specific signal from its environment, and it has to have a clean bill of health. If it can't tick all 3 of these boxes, you're not getting flowers. It's really that simple. So let's start with pillar number 1, the fuel. An orchid cannot bloom on wishful thinking alone. It needs cold, hard energy, and that energy comes from stored carbohydrates. So let's look at how it actually saves up for the big show. For a lot of orchids, the secret weapon is this little thing called the pseudobulb. Now, it's not a real bulb, it's more like a swollen-up stem that acts like a biological battery pack. It's like a camel's hump, storing away water and, most importantly, all the carbohydrate energy it's going to need to power that bloom. And this picture, it shows you exactly how they do it. As the orchid gets older, it doesn't just get bigger, it adds more and more of these little power packs. Each new pseudobulb adds to its total energy reserves, building up its capacity until it has enough juice to produce a really spectacular bloom. And get this isn't just a neat theory. A really important study from just this year, 2024, actually proved it. Scientists found a direct, undeniable link between the amount of starch packed into these pseudobulbs and whether or not the orchid would actually flower. Now check out the actual data from that study. The difference is just, whoa, it's staggering. The orchids that were blooming had almost 3 times the starch saved up compared to the ones that weren't. This tells you everything. Having a huge energy reserve isn't just a nice to have, it's the non-negotiable ticket to the show. Okay, so the orchid has its batteries charged up, it's full of energy. Now what? Well, it just waits. It's waiting for a very specific signal from the outside world, a trigger that tells it, okay, now's the time it's safe to spend all that energy you saved. And here's the catch. That trigger is different for different types of orchids. Your common moth orchid, the Phalaenopsis, it needs a gentle cool down for about a week. But a Cattleya wants a consistent temperature drop every single night. And a Dendrobium, it might need a long, cool, dry winter nap. You've really got to know your plant to give it the right cue. Now for the popular Phalaenopsis, you actually get to make a choice after the flowers fall off. You can cut the flower spike high, and that might give you a second, smaller bloom pretty quickly. Or you can cut it all the way down. That forces the plant to rest and fully recharge its batteries, which usually gives you a way bigger, stronger flower spike next time. It's a classic choice. Do you want speed or do you want strength? And that brings us to the third, and you could argue the most important pillar of all. Because you can have all the energy in the world and the perfect trigger, but if the plant itself isn't healthy, none of it matters. And for an orchid, health starts and ends with its roots. So we have to talk about this. The number 1 killer of orchids in our homes is root rot. It's sneaky, a lot of people mistake it for the plant being thirsty, and it's almost always caused by overwatering. A plant with rotten roots can't drink, it can't eat, and it definitely can't bloom. The good news is you can tell what's going on in a second. Healthy roots are fantastic. They're plump, firm, and either bright green or a nice silvery color. Rotten roots, well, they're the opposite. Brown, mushy, flat. You'll know them when you see them. It's a night and day difference. Now, if you do find rot, don't freak out. It's time for a little orchid surgery. It's a 4-step process. You take it out of the pot, you cut off every single piece of that brown, mushy root with a clean tool. You can treat the cuts with a little fungicide if you have some, and then you repot it right away in fresh potting mix. This can totally save your plant's life. So, now that we've uncovered the three big secrets, energy, trigger, and health, let's put it all together. Let's build a simple, straightforward master plan that you can start using right now. Here it is, your checklist for getting those blooms back. First, focus on building up that energy bank with lots of good light and regular week fertilizer. Second, when the time is right, give it that specific temperature drop it's waiting for. Third, protect those roots. That means great drainage and checking on them every so often. And last but not least, be patient. That quiet time with no flowers, that's when it's doing the most important work of all, getting ready for its next big show. So you see, once you understand these three pillars, you can stop guessing and you can start listening. An orchid that isn't blooming isn't trying to be difficult. It's communicating with you. It's telling you that one of these three critical needs isn't being met. And now you finally have the secret decoder ring to figure out what it's saying and give it exactly what it needs to shine.